Hello, my crafting friends. It's Diane Evans with stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior British Columbia. So if this is your first time joining me on YouTube, make sure that you do subscribe. Also, make sure that you hit that bell down below and you'll get notified immediately as soon as I upload a new video. So today, this is part of a challenge that I get involved in once a month. And the theme for this challenge is Throwback Thursday. So what I thought I'd do for this is a throwback of a card that I made probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's called the Impossible card. Quite a simple card to make, but if you are doing something with this directional designer series paper, that is actually another video that I'm going to do because there's a bit of a different way of actually putting that together. So why not get started, right? So here we go. Let me go down to my desktop. So today what we're going to do is we are going to use the Friendly Hello stamp set and designer series paper. Just to let you know, this is part of a level 2 celebration, which is available until February the 28th or while quantities last. So if you were in Canada and you spend $120 before shipping and taxes, you could qualify for this particular suite. Or not suite, but it's a bundle. And it comes, like I say, with the stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set and also the beautiful designer series paper. So this Impossible card is, it's like I say, it's quite simple. It only takes a base of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I've kind of got a bit of a thing here that I can show you. And I'm going to be posting this onto my blog. So make sure that you check down below and there'll be a link to my blog and it'll have this template there as well. So you take your 5 1/2, your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cardstock. And what you're going to do, and this is what I'm doing, is this is 4 1/4. So I want to score at the halfway mark, which is 2 1/8. And I'm going to score down just down the middle. Now on this template that I'm going to have on my blog, I'll also have all the measurements on there as well. So we have that scored at the halfway mark there. And then what we want to do is halfway through on the top one, which is 2 3/4, because that's half of 5 1/2. Who'd ever think that we'd use this much math, right? Anyways, I'm going to line this up at the 2 1/8 inch mark. You can see on my cutting tool that I have a piece, and it's just a strip of saffron paper, and that's so that it's easy for me to see my marks. And I'm just going to cut from the fold or the score line to the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm coming over 1 inch here, and I'm going to go from the fold line, which is 2 1/8, and I'm going to cut down 1 inch that way. And also then I'm going to line up on the 1 inch on this side, and I'm going to go to that score line, and I'm going to just cut down to the 1 inch there. Now I just want to make sure that I've got that right up to my fold lines. So, okay, so that's that part. Then you're also going to need a piece of designer series paper. Now this paper happens to be 4 by 5 inches, and I'm actually going to cut that in half. I want this to be 4 by 2 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to cut that like that. And then I've got 2 pieces exactly the same, and then we're going to cut with that. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this and I'm going to cut it together. I'm going to, because I want this to actually go, it's going to be part of a layer here. I want it to go at 3/4 of an inch, and the halfway mark on here is 2 inches. Now I'm just going to turn this way so that I can see this. So I'm lining this groovy part up here with the 2 inch line, and I'm just going to cut straight down. So that's 3/4 of an inch. And then what I'm going to do is I am then going to cut. Now, I'm just making sure I'm doing this right. I then want to cut out this part right here. So that is going to be, I'm going to line this up at the 2 inch mark, And then I'm just going to cut from that cut line right down to the thing there. And then I'm ending up with 2 pieces that are like this. All right. And then you're going to have these 2 extra pieces there. All right. So this is going to kind of decorate this part. Now all my measurements will be on my blog, which will be a link to below. Now this is scored at, like I say, the 2 1/8 because it's half of the 4 1/4. So I'm just going to go in and I want to, especially, well, I want to have that scored. Now, this is the part that makes this the impossible card. So all I'm going to do is just flip this like this. And this is going to give me, actually, I'll just flip it around. I just took it like this, and I'm just going to flip it like that. And what this is going to do is I am going to then put this part here, and I am going to put this part down here. And then this gives me the center part here. Now, we could decide if we want to do it this way or that way. But before I start doing that, what I want to do, and I could have done this ahead of time, but what I want to do is I want to go, and with this designer series paper and this stamp set, it's really kind of neat because what you can do is you can take these stamp sets and you can stamp onto this paper, and it's going to give you a different look to the paper altogether. So I am taking this particular one, and then I'm also going to take this particular one, and I'm just going to stamp on here. Now, what I could do is I could try to line it up, but that's not my intention on this. I just want to have, and when we're doing this, we want to turn this just like this. And let's see, just going to take it like that. And then we're going to stamp off of here as well. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And like I say, this just gives kind of a different look to it. And I should actually be stamping this onto a paper piercing mat because it would stamp better. But you know, we're going to just wing this like this. I'll do it when I go to stamp the other part. Let's go one there, a bit here, and a tiny bit here. So see how that's changed up that designer series paper, because it was actually, I don't even know where I put those pieces. It was like this. Now we've changed it up so it looks like this. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that on. Now, by the way that I cut that, you're going to line it right up with this crease line there and the crease line there, and then you've got the proper margins all the way around the card. So I'm gluing it on. Like I say, just like that. And in my other video that I'm going to be doing with the Impossible Card Part 2, I'm going to show you how to do this with directional paper. Because if you're using paper that's going directional or you want it to go a certain way, there's a little bit of a trick with it. I've got a really simple trick to use with it. So, right. So there we have that like that. Now, we also have a piece that is 1 inch by 5.5, and that's going to go on here. And then we have another piece that's 5/8 of an inch by 5 1/4, and that's going to go on here. Now, the purpose of this is to keep it so that the card doesn't flap like this. Now, you can, at this point, you can decide, is this going to be the front of my card or the back of my card? So let me just go ahead, and what I want to do is I want to put it onto this part here. Now, I could use tear and tape, which would work probably, but I want to use a glue on mine. So I'm just coming down here like this. I know that that's going to fit onto that part there. And then I'm going to just glue this down like so. There we go. All right. And then, like I say, I'm just going to put this onto here and onto here. And like I say, that can act as the back part. This could be our center here and the front focal, or it could be this side here as well. I'm going to leave that for the stamping in a bit. Then I also want to go ahead, and I have some mats here that oh shoot, I should have actually, I could have done a black. That would have been kind of nice to be on there. So let me actually, I'm going to go and I'm going to grab some black paper. And we're going to go ahead and cut this because I think the mat, it would look quite nice with a black mat on there. So this piece of the mat is going to be at 3 3/4. So I'm actually going to measure this. 3 1/4, I mean. I'm going to go 3. This is, it's going to have to go 3 1/4 this way. 3 1/4. And then I'm going to have a mat that is 1 7/8. And another one that's 1 7/8. So 1 7/8 by 3 1/4. And then my 2 pieces of, oh my goodness, I can't even get this up. My 2 pieces that are going to be white, or I guess I could even do them, let's see, black. And I think I'm going to do it in the white. Yes. And these white pieces are 1 5/8 by 3 inches. So let me just go ahead and put this mat on. So like I say, I had done this card years ago. So I call this a throwback Thursday for me because I haven't done this card for such a long time. And then we're going to also put it on the other side. Now, there is a black or some designer series paper that has the black on it, but I didn't want it to be that much. So I just wanted it to be kind of a subtle black in there. All right. So there we have that. Now we have to decide what we're going to actually put on here. So I decided that what I wanted to do was I'm going to actually make this the front part of my card. And I'm going to put the sentiment on this part. And because I am stamping sentiment, I'm going to bring in that paper piercing mat. And this just gives, photopolymer stamp sets do not have that extra foam on it. So all this does is gives that extra bit of foam below. That's why the cling mount stamps are stamped so beautifully compared to the photopolymer. So I'm going to have this. Hope you have the best birthday. I'm just putting it off to the side there. And that's from the stamp set as well. And now, like I say, I can go ahead and put that here. However, I want to kind of stamp something with it. And I didn't put these little pieces on there. So what I can do is, I think I'll clean this one off. And I think we'll just put, I don't know yet. I'm going to hold off on that for the time being. Okay, so these are actually going to go on here as mats. So let me just go ahead and put those on. Now, the purpose of the back of the card is that's where you're actually going to write your stuff on there. So it's going to be like a white there, but I want to go and put this stamp set, the one with the flowers that we used previously, and I'm just going to put that down just onto the bottom part of this card here. And then that's going to just go onto the back of this. Oh, it looks like I got ink on there. We'll try again. Let's just take our memento. There we go. And then another thing that's going to go on there, and I think we could go ahead and we can even color that. But then I also want to go ahead and stamp this beautiful bird because I'm going to use that on this card as well. We are going to have to fussy cut this, so just like so. All right, so what colors would go really good with that? I am going to use my pool party. I cannot find my dark pool party, so there is a way that we can actually go about doing this. Kind of want to let that dry a little bit, but I'm going to color this flower as well. And then I'm going to use, believe it or not, I'm going to use Granny Apple Green on this. I think this is a great way to color. And I love these two colors together. Okay. So let's go and let's get our bird. And we're going to color it with the pool party. Now to get that darker color, I'm just going back in for a little bit more. I'm leaving white as well. I'm going to go in with my, whoops, my Granny Apple Green, and we're going to get these leaves done. Whoops, this looks like the dark. It is. Just put some light on there. And then we should also do the, I'm going to use dark petal pink on there and light petal pink. And then I'm also going to use a light crumb cake. But I have to go very, very light with this crumb cake because this is the stem. And by using a light hand, you can also see I'm mixing up some of my colors here. So I'm going to come back in with my pool party, my bird, and then we're going to use the petal pink for our flowers. When I'm coloring for a video, I don't take as much time as what I would. However, you really don't need to take a lot of time with these blends. You can, of course you can, but you can get the same sort of effect by going quite light. And when you're blending, you want the colors to go in so that you don't see any lines. So all you're doing is you are just want to get this one stem, it's not there. All right, so then we have to fussy cut this out. When we fussy cut, we want to turn the paper, we don't turn the scissors. So when you're cutting, I always leave a border around just like you would if you had dies for this. And we're just going to go in like that. And like I say, when I put this one onto the back, I probably should have done that in petal pink. That's okay. It really should be petal pink. I will change that up. See how I move the paper when I fussy cut. And this is funny. This is a fundamental part, and they even teach this in elementary school. But how many people remember that from their elementary school, right? Just take that little point off. All right, so I'm actually going to go in here, and I'm going to quickly color this part. We're going to go in with our light petal pink. A bit of dark. And then we'll decide which way we want to do it. All right. So we've got our best birthday ever. And you know what? I could stamp that with other things, but I kind of want it just to be just like that. So I'm going to go in and I'm not going to actually do any stamping on there. Let's go ahead and put this on here. I like the glue because it gives me that wiggle room, right? And then let's go ahead and put this bird here, and I'm going to put it on with dimensionals. So there. We want to strategically put them in a certain spot so that they're not off the card. Oh, I got those off without using my take your pick tool. All right, so this is just going to go like this. This is going to go onto the back of the card where that's where you're going to do your writing. So I'm just actually going to put that on with removable tape because I'm going to go ahead and redo this part because I don't like the way that it comes through. And that's where you can do your writing on the card. And there's your card there. Now, of course, we have to do some embellishments. And I really like those polished stones, but I'm thinking what I might want to do is I could go and they have the black on here, and I could actually use and I will. I'm going to use the matte black dots because it's going to kind of show that off like that. So I'm going to just have to come in with my take your pick tool. So I'm just going to come in here. Let's do one there. One there. And another one right there. So I didn't mean to do it up there. There we go. Whoops. There we go. So there's my impossible card. I hope you like that. It's very simple. Like I say, I'm going to this is on another video I'm going to show you how to do this when you have directional paper, and it's going to continue and it's going to give you a scene. I'm quite excited about that one. So I will get that done. And then there's the back of the card where we're going to write on there as well. So I hope you like that. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you do subscribe. I also have a very generous reward program. So if you do live in Canada and you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. I have a host code that's sitting here. This host code does change periodically, so if you're attached to my blog, but the host reward program, I give away a tutorial each and every month. Plus, I also have, when it's an online purchase, I do have a very generous reward program for you. So, like I say, I hope you like that, and thanks for dropping by. Bye for now.